Happy St. Patrick's Day. That is all I'm going to say about that, and I'm going to jump right in because I've got a lot of energy flowing through me today. Couple reasons for that. Last night I went to a Master of Fine Arts poetry reading put on by Eastern Washington University, and it was called Voiceover. I'm going to try to look at the camera now instead of off into the distance, and we'll see how that goes. Anyway, Voiceover by Eastern Washington University's Master of Fine Arts department was great. There were 5 student featured readers and then a 6th reader of the faculty named Gregory Spatz. Gregory has a new book of short stories getting ready to be released soon called Half as Happy, and I tell you what, he read about half of the final story in the book last night, and it was compelling, about a couple of adolescent boys who wanted to be a bit of some trouble raisers, but they'd never done anything truly bad before. Throughout the course of the story, they end up doing some bad thing that just climaxes, and of course Gregory, to get us all to want to buy his book when it comes out, stopped right when the boys did the bad thing. So now we have to buy the book and find out the repercussions. The poets, the master's students of poetry who read last night were absolutely incredible. And not that they were any better or worse than the other poetry that I go out and about to watch and be a part of, but they know how to blow off steam and have a good time. During the course of the 3 hours or so I was at the bar, there were only 20 poems read, which seems like not very many, but during the whole thing they were laughing and having fun with each other and doing things that graduate students need to do, and it made me feel very refreshed to be in this area where poetry was not the life and death thing that I have an image of the academic world in my head, but poetry was this thing that can bring people together and you can still have a good time through it. So that's my type of poetry. Poetry that's good and refreshing and painful. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't exactly light subject matter, but the way that they treated the time not being spent reading poetry was outstanding. I stayed sober last night. I drank a free Coca-Cola, and then this morning on my Facebook page I wrote, "Free Coke at a downtown poetry reading, the beginning of a great story with a normal feeling ending." Because free Coke, you don't want to yell that out downtown. Who knows what type of people it will attract. And poetry, that shit can be dangerous. So, man, it was just a really good time. We're 3 minutes in now, and tonight I get to go to another poetry reading, one that hopefully I'll be performing at, the Spokane Poetry Slam. I have been preparing a couple of poems all day. One of them, the long version, was about 4.5 minutes long, but the Poetry Slam has a 3-minute time guideline, and let me tell you what, I had to cut a lot of stuff out of this poem, but in cutting it, it feels a little more tight. It feels ready for delivery. It feels like the audience will be with every single word now that I've got it cut, and I think probably it's better for it. The second poem that I was preparing for tonight, I've only read in public once, and a recent poem that I wrote last week about marriage, and it's kind of a devastating poem. I want readers to follow along happy, and then, or listeners as it were, and then to kind of crush them at the end, but not in a bad way, only a real way, a way that I have to deal with every day. And I think it works. I think the message is wide enough that a whole bunch of people will be able to get a message out of it. So we've got about 20 seconds to go. I've really enjoyed doing this the last few days. Thank you guys for putting up with me. Spread the word, and please ask some questions. I've not had any asked yet. I've had people telling me that they're thinking of questions, but until something is uttered out loud, I don't believe it exists anyway. So have a happy St. Patrick's Day, and I just lied because I said I wasn't going to say any more about it, but I did. Talk to you guys later.